Well, it turns out that publicity may be the best disinfectant, and Judge Glanville down here in Fulton County is probably finding that out the hard way. If you haven't been paying attention to the Young Thug slash YSL case that's happening down here in Atlanta, a rapper named Young Thug, 5 co-defendants, they are accused of a variety of different felonies, including RICO charges, and the judge hasn't always been on the up and up. So there have been a couple of different motions filed to have this judge recuse himself, largely based on that June 10th ex parte conversation that he had with the prosecution and a prosecution witness, and did not have the defense in the room, which is a big no-no. So the defense attorneys have asked him to recuse himself. There was actually even a former prosecution attorney who also filed a motion asking that there be parts of the other motions that he shouldn't be allowed to hear, and he shouldn't, I mean, it's just a big mess. But this judge is on a power trip and he refuses to walk away. Now, I've said from the beginning, all I care about is that these guys get a fair trial. They may have done all these things, I do not know, but we'll never know that because the judge is leaning so heavily toward the prosecution that they're not getting a fair trial. And as these motions come up, the judge he's allowing himself to sit in judgment of himself. So a motion is filed to say, you, sir, should recuse yourself. And he looks at it and goes, nah, not today. Don't feel like it. And he's just like tossing him out. Well, finally, a motion was filed. It was a writ of mandamus. This was filed about a week ago. And this is the, break glass in case of an emergency option. And what it did was it asked a higher court to step in and assign another judge. So assign somebody, not for the trial, but to assign somebody to come and hear the motions about the recusal. So he can't decide if he's going to get recused. Another judge should. So that's all they're asking, is for a non-biased judge to come in and hear this. Okay, great. So court now, as of yesterday, has been suspended while another judge is brought in. Now, Judge Glanville wasn't going to do any of this, but I think the pressure got to him. There's so much pressure. These attorneys, it's more than one attorney, right? There's multiple attorneys who are all filing motions, and shit is getting to the higher courts. And so I think he felt a lot of pressure to say, well, at the very least, I should have another judge come in, and his hope is that this other judge will side with him. I don't think he's going to, but that's what the hope is. Now, what's really interesting is also part of that writ of mandamus was a request to release the transcript of that ex parte meeting, the full transcript. They had released something, but they said, well, it's heavily redacted. They wanted a copy that hadn't been redacted. Well, there's a copy that's been released by the judge. It's a 23-page transcript. And please, I tagged her below, but please go over to the page for I Am Not a Lawyer, But. She's brilliant, and she's following this case, and she has portions of this, and she reads it. And as she's reading it, and I'm hearing how they're exchanging, and yes, they had Kenneth Copeland, who is a witness, who also goes by the rap name Lil Woody. They had him in the room. He had taken immunity to testify, then backed out once he got up on the stand and he took the fifth. So they corral him into this room, and it's the judge and a couple of attorneys. And yes, the back and forth, you can see how they are leaning on him. They are leaning on him. They're saying, you have immunity, you need to testify. And he's like, but I just really don't think I want to. And they're like, then you're going to go to jail. Like, they're being polite about it. So they're not coming out and saying, listen, you little fuckwad, you're doing this. Like, they don't do that, but they're like, well, here's what you promised. And the whole time, Woody, who has done this more than once, he plays a little stupid. And so there's parts of it where you start to go, gosh, does he not understand? Are they kind of bullying him? And then you realize this little fucker's sly, and he knows exactly what he's doing. He's running them around in circles, trying to wear them down. And he does it so brilliantly. But my point being, I don't know what was in this transcript that they had to redact in the first place. I'm trying to figure out what was so vital in there that it required a writ of mandamus for us to see it. Unless it was just the embarrassment of them kind of cajoling this guy into testifying and threatening jail time. I'm reading the transcript and I'm not seeing anything that would have even needed to be redacted in the first place, unless the judge was just embarrassed because he knew he fucked up by having this meeting without the defense in the room. I can't explain it, but there's more to come. So the trial has been paused indefinitely until they can get another judge in to hear these motions. The sad part is, in this case, all of these defendants are sitting in jail. So this isn't like they get 2 weeks off. They're sitting in jail every single time there's a delay, every single time the jury leaves for a week. they have to sit in jail. Asked for bond a couple of different times and been turned down because the judge cites that he could be a threat to other witnesses. He could be danger to the community. Like, that's why they're keeping him under lock and key the entire time. So this poor guy has been sitting in a jail cell this entire time. So while I'm glad they've paused it to bring in a judge to judge the judge, but every delay hurts these defendants a little bit more and it adds to the time that they're in jail. So in my opinion, I think Judge Glanville is going to be told he needs to recuse because I think anybody's going to read the transcript of that meeting. I don't even know if the problem is with the transcript. I think the problem is that he had a meeting and didn't invite the defense. And I think that was the day he made the critical mistake. And his attempts to try and cover it up and bully other people and try to force confessions and who ratted on us, that's all been smoke and mirrors. Because at the end of the day, he knows he fucked up and he's been trying to like deflect and deflect and deflect. But ultimately, there's going to be another judge that comes in and I bet you money he's going to be told to recuse. So as this case continues to provide us drama, I'll be back here telling you what I think.